The machine we will be presenting to you today is called the Length Measuring Guide, the design and construction of which has been undertaken solely by our small company. We have placed particular emphasis on ensuring that this machine is of a high standard in terms of its quality construction, speed, accuracy, and being easy to operate, while at the same time being offered at an extremely reasonable price. The guide can be operated automatically or manually. Manual operation simply involves entering the length we wish to cut, with the slider moving quickly and accurately to the correct point. For the guide to operate automatically, we select one of the cuts already entered in the computer, and the slider moves from one position to the next in order until the cut has been completed. In addition to its electronic components, the guide has a built-in computer, along with the corresponding software, which ensure that the guide is easily operated by all. The computers are installed in cabinets, which safeguard them against damage and borings. The guide is controlled by way of a keyboard, which is durable and waterproof, making it ideal for industrial environments. An additional keyboard is also available, which can be placed wherever suits, for example on your saw disc. Lastly, there is also a printer for labelling your profiles. The slider moves at a speed of 1 meter per second and is accurate to 0.2 millimeters. While the slider is in motion, the stopper is raised slightly above the rollers to avoid any damage. In the event that we wish to cut a short length of profile, requiring the stopper to move onto the saw disc, the stopper will shift slightly in order not to collide with the saw disc, and once the slider is in position, the stopper will return until it just touches the saw disc. In the event that we wish to cut a length of profile longer than the guide, the stopper can be raised so as to pass the profile under the stopper and complete the cut using a simple tape measure. The guide can be attached to any manual or automatic saw disc available on the market. If the saw disc is automatically operated by air, it can be connected to the guide's computer. In this case, additional electronic components will be required in order to make this connection. The guide will then be able to rotate the saw disc head to the left and right, depending on whether we want to trim the profile or make a complete cut. The computer also conducts its own checks, so for example, if a cut has not been fully completed, the slider will not move on to the next point. During manual operation, the monitor will provide important information such as the maximum and minimum cut that the guide can make, and at which position the slider is already located. Once a new position is entered, the slider will move on to that point. The next point may be an entirely different position or may stem from the previous point. Please take a moment to view a demonstration of the guide's manual operation. In order for the guide to operate automatically, you must enter some information regarding the cuts you wish to make. This information is easily transferred from your cutting program to a USB memory stick. You then place the stick in the appropriate port on the guide and begin. All the waste minimization data is automatically transferred to the guide, and you are now ready to begin cutting. In automatic operation, we must firstly select one of the cuts already entered. We then select which profile of the particular selection we wish to cut first. Lastly, we have the screen for automatic operation. At the top, we can see general information such as the customer's details, the information regarding the profile we are about to cut, and the number of profiles we should have. Further down, we see the cutting information for each profile, such as the length to be cut, the angles, the remnant, assembly and position of the particular part. The cuts which have been completed appear in dark green. The cut currently being completed is red, and the cuts waiting to be made appear in light green. At the bottom right, we also see a diagram of the profile we are to cut in order to avoid errors. An enlargement of this diagram can be viewed. The background colour is now light blue, and the saw disc head is in position to make a right angle. In other words, we are ready to trim. We trim the profile and press any key. The background colour turns black, and the saw disc head is in position to make a left angle. In other words, we are ready to cut. The slider is in the correct position. We make the cut and press any key. The background colour is now pink, and the printer produces a label with the information regarding the profile we cut. The slider shifts slightly to the right to allow us to apply the label and remove the cut profile. By pressing any key, we have the procedure repeat itself from the beginning. Let's take a closer look at the labels. We see the full name of the customer, the assembly to which the profiles belong, whether they are to be installed horizontally or vertically, a description of the assembly, the quote number, the work site, the length, the saw disc operator's name, and the code. The code is a number unique to each cut made by the guide. The purpose of the code is simple. If, for instance, a profile is damaged during assembly or installment at the worksite, the code printed on the label assists us by providing all the details of the profile, which allows us to cut a new profile in replacement of the one damaged. Here we would like to briefly mention some additional features of the guide. Each day, backup files are saved to the disk. At any given time, we are able to discontinue automatic operation of the guide and revert to manual operation, and then return again to automatic operation simply and easily. We can leave a profile unfinished and continue with another at any time and as often as we desire to do so. During automatic operation, we are able to amend the length of a cut manually and rearrange the order in which we would like the profiles to be cut. The software is updated on a regular basis, and any upgrades are available to you free of charge. The software includes a short procedure for minimizing waste of materials using manual input. This concludes our presentation. We thank you for your attention.